Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Wednesday, December 3, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, police officer claims victimization by transfer over Budna kidnapping information. Ministry of Health seeks to revise alcohol regulations. And BNTU still in talks with GOB over salary deductions. We take a first break and return with the news in detail.
It's an massive season with massive deals and rewards at Penny's. From now through December 31st, earn double B-Bucks on store-wide purchasing every Saturday. That's right, 2 times the B-Bucks, which means 2 times the cash back when shopping at Penny's. Plus, get even more rewards with B-Bucks Builders on home goods, tiles, appliances, paints, and lights. And don't forget, there's also massive deals and discounts on tiles and the best brands in paints like Benjamin Moore and BH. Rewards, deals, B-Bucks. You can get it all this massive season only at Penny's. Quality and savings.
The journey towards owning a home was a family decision as we needed stability and security. And it was a financial investment that we would have for our family's legacy. Getting a home loan from Atlantic Bank was very easy. The officers there were able to walk you through the process and you were able to ask questions. Moving into our home for the first time was a blessed and happy experience. I remember turning the key for the first time and the family was so excited to see our new home where we'll be making new memories in.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Want all the postpaid perks without the commitment? Now you can with Smart Supercharged prepaid plans. All the talk, text, and data you need. No contracts, no hassle. Pay upfront for your package and enjoy total freedom. No commitments. Just simple, flexible plans that fit your life. Pick your power, Core, Edge, or Prime. Prepaid plans, ready when you ready. Commit to no commitments and get yours today. Dial 7526 or *100 key, use the Smart app, or visit a Gimme Dollar agent to purchase today. Smart, bringing people together.
Yes, I want to do farming. Fruits, vegetables, anything. You don't have to go out there and buy, you have your own thing.
This never happened when I come in too, baby. That's what it look.
200 lots, more lots than people with land of cost. So when I pick them when I ban yet to get land.
You could look at all of them, how happy they are. They're so, man, these people don't know how to express themselves right now.
People who have never had a land before, will live here for years, finally get something to say, okay, I have something in my name,
So when you get your piece of land, you have to hold on to your land. You have something to pass on to your picnic.
Use your land, make it useful.
Don't sell your land because it is gold. You're investing in your own selves and your children down the road.
I know how to say thank again because it's a great achievement.
at Brothers Habet and Habet, and we have some great gifts for you, like our signature 15% off all Berger, Penta, and domestic paints, and 30 to 40% off selected and discontinued colors. 15% off all power tools, 20 to 30% off select tiles, 20 to 65% off light fixtures, and 40% off sunlight windows and mirrors. Also, GST free days on December 6th and 20th. Plus, for every $50 you spend, get a chance to win a $500 gift certificate in our 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from all of us at Brothers Habet and Habet.
Today we gather not only to plan but also to reaffirm our commitment to excellence, modernization, and serving the Belizean people with integrity, competence, and a sense of vision and purpose. One of the most powerful ways to address crime is through continuous professional development.
This training strategic planning workshop is not just another meeting or another administrative exercise. It is a deliberate investment in the professionalism, readiness, and the future of the department. Effective training improves outcomes. And when outcomes improve, we gain public trust. That trust is a pillar of policing. Without it, no department can succeed. But training by itself is not enough. The quality of our policing will only improve if what is learned in the classroom, workshops, and field exercise is implemented on the ground. And you, the commanders, are the critical link between training and performance. You as leaders will shape the training agenda for the next 3 years. You are the ones who will carry this plan back to your formations. You are the ones who will turn strategy into actions.
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. A police officer is challenging his transfer out of the GI3 unit as punitive and says it's because he disclosed to the commissioner incriminating information about high-ranking individuals linked to the Joseph Budna kidnapping. The officer, by letter dated November 3rd, was informed of his transfer to the Mahogany Heights Police Substation. As a result, he would lose $880 in monthly allowances, including plainclothes, detective, and special allowance. Notably, the transfer is coming outside of the usual transfer period of July and August, for which there is much advance notice. In this case, the officer was only given 2 weeks' notice. In a lawyer letter to the Commissioner, Dr. Richard Rosado, the officer says the transfer is being driven by malice and victimization rather than by actual, genuine, or administrative or career development needs. He adds that the move is meant to victimize, isolate, and intimidate him. Additionally, the officer says he had a legitimate expectation based on previous agreements and satisfactory performance that he would be promoted. He is asking that the transfer be rescinded, that his promotion be finalized, and that the victimization be stopped. The commissioner has been given a deadline of Friday, December 5, to respond favorably. Otherwise, the officer intends to pursue legal action. Representatives from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, and stakeholders today met in Belize City for the country's first ever forum on alcohol. The goal is to analyze the current regulations on alcohol use and discuss whether changes need to be made, as well as spread awareness of the dangers of abusing alcohol. Dr. Melissa Diaz-Musa, the Director of Public Health and Wellness, shared several health risks involved with the overconsumption of alcoholic drinks, as well as the negative social impacts it has on those who become addicted to alcohol.
Alcohol isn't just affecting the individual, but alcohol affects families, it affects relationships, it affects your income. It is the cause, as the data showed earlier, 68% of the road traffic accidents had alcohol associated with it one way or another. So those are definite, tangible aspects that we know. But alcohol affects our health in various ways. Alcohol is associated with liver disease, namely cirrhosis. Many people may have heard of cirrhosis, where the liver is affected and can no longer function. Alcohol is associated with gastrointestinal tract issues like the food pipe and the colon. It is very closely related to an increase of cancers, specifically liver cancer, pancreatic cancer, which is a very dangerous cancer. It's associated with breast cancer, with a high percentage of breast cancers being linked to alcohol use or misuse. But as well, we are talking right now with regards to its link to other non-communicable diseases like hypertension, diabetes, cancer, as I had mentioned, mental illnesses. There is a direct link with alcohol and low mood, depression, anxiety, generalized anxiety disorders. And we know that sometimes people utilize alcohol to reduce their inhibitions, to feel relaxed. They use it for social anxieties, other things. But we do know that this is just a band-aid, really, because the long-term effects, if you continue to use it, your tolerance goes up. You will need more alcohol. You'll be more dependent on alcohol instead of addressing certain issues other ways.
Karen Lewis Bell, who is Belize's PAHO representative, highlighted how alcohol consumption is viewed as a cultural experience for some, but she shared some statistics that showed it's a global concern.
Yes, I know that the Caribbean, many countries in the Caribbean produce rum. And, alcohol, as you say, for some persons is a rite of passage. There's no parties without alcohol. Young people feel that if they can't hold their drink, that they would be considered to be less than others. But the important thing is, what are the harmful use of excessive intake of alcohol? Well, globally, excessive use of alcohol contributes to about 2.6 million deaths worldwide. And when we talk about excessive use of alcohol, for individuals 15 to 29 years of age, about 22% of them actually do have excessive use of alcohol.
More teenagers are beginning to sample alcoholic drinks at an earlier age. In fact, statistics in Belize are indicating that many are taking their first sips as preteens, the majority as young as 10 years old. Director of Public Health and Wellness, Dr. Melissa Diaz-Musa, said there will be a focus on spreading awareness on the dangers of drinking alcohol to adolescents.
In fact, one of the alarming statistics that was mentioned today was that a large percentage of adolescents, I think she mentioned over 60%, had their first drink before the age of 10, and that's recent data. So we know that the age is younger and younger, and the psychologist also mentioned that parents might feel that it's best for my child to start drinking at home because at least I'll know how they behave, etc. And she's suggesting that these things are not correct, because then you ensure that your child feels safe with drinking, and they need to understand that it's not a safe space. It's not some place that you can sit down and say, okay, I'm going to drink at home. You take that out to the clubs and to other places, and it becomes an addiction. So we are concerned, and a part of our campaign will be addressing children and adolescents and addressing the way that we can reduce them feeling the urge or feeling that it's cool or it's necessary, or that peer pressure that they must drink.
We asked if the Ministry of Health would pursue an increase in the age limit for alcohol consumption.
This is the first step in terms of the alcohol, having the alcohol forum and informing the public, and we have it streamed live so that whoever could not be here would have this opportunity, and then we will have a technical working group that will discuss the issues around alcohol, the social, the physical, the mental issues, and at that time the discussion will be with regards to the age of how we think the regulations will impact the age of persons who will be legally allowed to drink.
The Belize National Teachers Union is still having meetings with government officials to try to address persistent problems with delayed salary payments for some teachers, as well as a deduction for an advance teachers say they did not agree to. Today, when we asked the financial secretary if the issues can be resolved once and for all, he said all documentation needs to be in order at the management level.
You know, it's a long and torturous situation. The Treasury is at the end of the line. It is like trying to stop, if I can use this expression, if you try to stop a flood, you don't go to the New Hanover Bridge and stop it there. You do the mitigation upstream. You know? And really, as far as I understand, the difficulty was that some of the school managements, now the managements are, you know, we have this denominational system. Some of the management, the records weren't up to date. Last year, in an effort to head off a problem, we gave those teachers that were involved an advance, with the intention that the advance would be recovered over a period of time because the salary would come in. Once the thing is corrected, the salary came in. And it took a while for the advance to be recovered, and I understand that when the advance was being recovered, that caused some friction. But the Treasury, we are all working together to try to minimize and to avoid these problems in the future. But it starts upstream. I'm not pointing blame or anything, but managements have to submit in time all the records and any changes in, you know, status, increments, whatever, because by the time it gets to the Treasury isn't the gatekeeper, they're the payer. Huh?
We asked Wait if the monies paid to some teachers in December 2024, which were then deducted in one lump sum this school year, was the overdue payment for outstanding allowances and increments dating back to 2018. Like the Minister of Education last week, the FinSec did not provide any clarity in this respect.
I'm not sure exactly what was due and if that, you know, is connected, but the problem is that if there's any change in a teacher's salary, an increment, for instance, an award, something, an advance, that starts at the head of the stream. That's the employer makes those changes, sends in the pay sheets, sends in, and then the payment comes through the Treasury. Treasury can't they try to backstop as much as you can, but they can't fill these forms out. They can't, you know, that comes further upstream. And it's a work in progress, and you know, teachers need research certification to be proper documents to be in the files. And talking now about retirements, about retirements. Again, that's a problem because if the file comes incomplete, the Treasury can't complete it. They have to send it back.
After the break, just under half of drivers who died in RTAs were under the influence of alcohol. Stay with us.
When Shell V-Power flows through your engine, confidence flows through you. Choose the fuel that 100% cleans critical engine parts and keeps your engine performing like new.
Driving around, particularly during this holiday season, can be quite an experience. Families are out shopping and the streets are buzzing with excitement. It reminds me that this season is all about connections, and it starts with how we treat each other, even on the road. When I'm behind the wheel, I always remind myself that being on the road is more than just following the rules. It's about looking out for each other and making sure we all get home safely to our families. This season, let's continue to be alert and be kind on the road. Be courteous, give way, and stay safe. A message from BEL.
Un grupo de gente que hemos trabajado muy duro, y la tierra es para la gente de Bellavista. ¿Para qué? Para que los jóvenes puedan tener tierra. ¿Para qué? Para que los jóvenes puedan desarrollarse en el futuro. Algo que les hacía falta por mucho tiempo. Nuestros padres vienen de las fincas bananeras. Somos gentes que hemos sufrido mucho. Y ustedes como jóvenes se merecen mejores oportunidades.
If you didn't have land before, you will have land now. once you have land, you have wealth.
I think they want to build, they want to settle.
I'm already having dreams of my home and everything.
You know, the wires are just, I'm really excited. I'm really happy. I can finally begin to build a house.
This is just a great feeling, you know.
Mi amigo es un hermano, una persona para el pobre. ¿Estamos de acuerdo?
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
Just Christmas season, the $1 million season. Because sometimes the biggest blessing come in the shape of a late ticket. This Christmas, the best gift could just be a ticket for $1 million. The $1 million jackpot draws December 20th. Buy a ticket now at any certified Bolito seller on the For We Bolito app or at forwebolito.bz. Go buy your ticket today for a chance to make your Christmas season extra special.
Sir, your item is ready for viewing. Is that all? This is everything.
Whether you are a busy person or stuck in traffic or having an adverse or very demanding circumstance, tension builds up, causing you to be stressed out. Stress attacks everyone, anytime, any age. And stress is a killer. Palm City? It's best to be alive than dead. So visit Freetown Drug Store to get options to relieve stress and to relax your mind.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you today?
I'm so stressed out.
Okay, I'm saying I can help right now. When I this daily, for 10 days, I am good after that, okay?
Okay.
Freetown Drug Store, 28 Freetown Road, where you are better off alive than dead. Freetown Drug Store, telephone 223-2876.
Belize, it's that time again. GST-free weekends are back on December 6th, 7th, 20th, and 21st. Just in time for big savings for Christmas. On these weekends, most local retail goods will be GST-free at checkout. That includes frequently bought standard rated goods such as furniture, appliances, electronics, clothing and footwear, Christmas decorations, curtains, rugs, Marley, toys, and grocery items like seasonings, mixed essences, mixed fruits, and soft drinks. Everything you need to make your December more affordable. And good news for the holiday cooks. Picnic shoulder ham, smoked ham leg, and imported turkey are 0 rated all December long. And before you leave the store, always take a quick look at your receipt. You should see the GST removed or discounted automatically. So that means more savings and more room in your Christmas budget. So Belize, let's shop smart this Christmas season. December 6th, 7th, 20th, and 21st, GST-free weekends, brought to you by Belize Tax Services.
During today's National Alcohol Forum held in Belize City, the Belize National Forensic Science Service and the Belize Crime Observatory released statistics that show the blood alcohol levels of drivers who died in road traffic accidents from January to June 2024. In that period, a total of 37 drivers of all types of motor vehicles died in traffic accidents. Of that total, 46% or 17 drivers had blood alcohol levels above the legal prescribed limit. When it comes to motorcycles, 26 drivers died in road traffic accidents during that period. Of that total, 17 were found to be above the legally prescribed blood alcohol levels, which also reflects 46% of the total. While the percentage of those who died while being above the legal blood level of alcohol was the same for those driving motor vehicles or motorcycles, it is interesting to note that during that time period, 26 drivers of motorcycles died in a traffic accident, while 11 drivers of other types of motor vehicles died during traffic accidents. The tests were carried out by the National Forensic Science Service using samples collected from the victims during forensic post-mortem examination. The samples were analyzed using gas chromatography with flame ionization detection. Most of those samples, which were positive for high blood alcohol levels, were gathered from victims who were between the ages of 20 and 29. The Southern Deep Port Development Limited, in charge of overseeing the revamp of the Commerce Bight Port in Dangriga, has rejected any involvement of Raul Roca, the Miss Universe co-owner, currently under criminal investigation in Mexico. Roca's firm Legacy Holding, Roca's company, cites on its webpage that it is spearheading the project, the Port of Dangriga project, that is. The Southern Deep Port Development Limited, in a press release today, said this assertion is unauthorized and they have requested that the information be removed immediately. It explained that they held discussions with Legacy Holding based on their stated interest in investment opportunities in Belize. However, it says those discussions started in April and ended in September this year with no business or investment partnership established. Eworth Garbett, the president of the Belize Flat Fishery Association, is raising concern about the Resilient Bowl Belize project under the Blue Bond and Finance Permanence Unit in the Office of the Prime Minister, which is the executing agency. According to project documents, the aim of Resilient Bold Belize is to, quote, secure the long-term conservation and resilience of Belize's marine and coastal ecosystems, promoting nature-based livelihoods and the well-being of Belizeans, end quote. It is billed as a project finance for a permanence initiative, which is a model that secures long-term guaranteed funded and policy commitments to permanently protect large areas of nature. The total project cost is cited as $40.7 million. Today, Garbett said that they have been told the goal is to increase full marine protected areas by 16% from 4 to 20%. He says if this happens, many fishers will be impacted and claims that there has been insufficient consultation. Garbutt stated that a final meeting was to be held on Thursday and implementation is expected to begin in the first quarter of 2026. However, the meeting was postponed and they were instead invited to a focus group. Garbutt says the officials behind the project have been into the coastal communities, but they have not mobilized participation with the relevant stakeholders. He shared that he did his own polling and learned that a majority of the fisher folk who stand to lose their livelihood know nothing of the project. He claims that only about 15 people out of 3,000 to be affected in Placencia were present for the first meeting in September. Garbutt also stated that there is poor enforcement of the 4% of our marine space that is under full protection. We have reached out to the government and we await a response. In recognition of International Day of Persons with Disabilities, the government of Belize, in collaboration with UNICEF, today launched a comprehensive situational analysis on children with disabilities. The aim is to provide critical data and evidence to guide the development of inclusive policies and programs that ensure every child in Belize is given equal opportunity to thrive. The report highlights the current realities faced by children living with disabilities across the country, while emphasizing the urgent need for strengthened support systems in health, education, family, environment, and protection services. Officials underscored that the findings will play a key role in informing future national interventions, ensuring that no child is left behind. Here is Ken Leggins, UNICEF representative, on this initiative.
Disability represents a group of vulnerable children, and it is UNICEF's mandate to look out for the most vulnerable children in society. And I think it's very telling that these two meetings go together. And if I go too fast, you just tell me. Together we share the responsibility to ensure that no child is left behind, especially the most vulnerable. I therefore wish to acknowledge the government of Belize, partner ministries, organizations, persons with disabilities, and families whose contributions have made this possible. UNICEF works on this not just because UNICEF is an international organization. We work on this, and our young people I'm sure know this, is because the government Belize signed two really important international treaties. The first one is the Convention of the Rights of the Child, which protects all vulnerable children. The second one is called the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which Belize also signed on to. So today, UNICEF is here in support of the government of Belize to meet its commitment to the international treaties that they have signed. Belize has made lots of successes here. I was talking to my colleague and friend Kim from the Cancer Society before this, and we've done a lot of great things going out and talking to people. But there's still a lot more that we have to do. You know, commitments can't remain policies on paper. UNICEF is guilty of this too. We've got lots of policies on paper, but actually making those things happen is what's going to be critical. They're going to need the support of our government. It's our esteemed colleague here in the front row working on disability, and we're going to need young people because you're the future. Your role here is not just to have young people here. Oh, let there be light. Huh? It's really the future. You young people will be taking this forward. Data is telling us that people with disabilities have limited access to education and health services. That there's shortages of trained professionals to work, case managers, and assistive technologies. Everybody knows what assistive technologies is, right? Yeah, it's like the hearing aids and different things that people use to support them. Persistent stigma and ableism in communities. Everybody has views about disability, right? Some of those views are not supportive of making people with disabilities full members of society. These barriers translate into missed opportunities. A person with a disability is as able or even more because you bring a unique perspective contribute to Belizean society. Together, we've got to move beyond the data today, and we've got to take this and bring this into action. I think there's a sentence here that was written that I really like. Inclusion is not charity. It's justice. It's giving every child a fair chance in life.
The launch spotlighted several key priorities, including supporting children and adolescents to reach their fullest potential and empowering them to participate in decisions affecting their lives, promoting safe family and community environments free from violence, neglect, and abuse, addressing the impacts of climate change on children, particularly those most vulnerable, strengthening cross-agency collaboration and support systems for children in crisis situations, and ensuring access to quality health care, mental wellness support, and equitable education, especially during emergencies. The situational analysis is expected to serve as a roadmap for future action as Belize continues its push toward building systems that uplift and protect every child. After the break, will there be Christmas cheer this year? Stay tuned.
Want all the postpaid perks without the commitment? Now you can with smart supercharged prepaid plans. All the talk, text, and data you need. No contracts, no hassle. Pay upfront for your package and enjoy total freedom. No commitments. Just simple, flexible plans that fit your life. Pick your power, Core, Edge, or Prime. Prepaid plans ready when you ready. Commit to no commitments and get yours today. Dial 7526 or star 100 pound key, use the Smart app, or visit a Gimme Dollar agent to purchase today. Smart, bringing people together.
Un grupo de gente que hemos trabajado muy duro y la tierra es para la gente de Bellavista. ¿Para qué? Para que los jóvenes puedan tener tierra. ¿Para qué? Para que los jóvenes puedan desarrollarse en el futuro. Algo que les hacía falta por mucho tiempo. Nuestros padres vienen de las fincas bananeras. Somos gentes que hemos sufrido mucho. Y ustedes como jóvenes se merecen mejores oportunidades.
If you didn't have land before, you will have land now. Once you have land, you have wealth.
I think they want to build, they want to settle.
I'm already having dreams of my home and everything.
You know, the wires are just, I'm really excited. I'm really happy. I can finally begin to build a house.
It's just a great feeling, you know.
Mi amigo es un hermano, una persona para el pobre. ¿Estamos de acuerdo?
The journey towards owning a home was a family decision as we needed stability and security. And it was a financial investment that we would have for our family's legacy. Getting a home loan from Atlantic Bank was very easy. The officers there were able to walk you through the process and you were able to ask questions. Moving into our home for the first time was a blessed and happy experience. I remember turning the key for the first time, and the family was so excited to see our new home where we'll be making new memories in.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Yes, I want to do farming. Fruits, vegetables, anything. You don't have to go out there and buy, you have your own thing.
This never happened when I come in the two, baby. That's what I do.
200 lots, more lots than people in the land of Costa. So when I pick them when I ban yet to get land.
You could look at all of them, how happy they are. They're so, man, these people don't know how to express themselves right now.
People who have never had a land before, will live here for years, finally get something to say, okay, I have something in my name,
So when you get your piece of land, you have to hold on to your land. You have something to pass on to your picnic.
Use your land, make it useful.
Don't sell your land because it is gold. You're investing in your own selves and your children down the road.
I know how to say thank again because it's a great achievement.
It's an massive season with massive deals and rewards at Penny's. From now through December 31st, earn double B-Bucks on store-wide purchasing every Saturday. That's right, 2 times the B-Bucks, which means 2 times the cash back when shopping at Penny's. Plus, get even more rewards with B-Bucks Builders on home goods, tiles, appliances, paints, and lights. And don't forget, there's also massive deals and discounts on tiles and the best brands in paints like Benjamin Moore and BH. Rewards, deals, V-Bucks. You can get it all this massive season only at Penny's. Quality and savings.
The next House meeting is set for Friday, December 12, when the Prime Minister usually announces Christmas cheer. We asked the Financial Secretary if there is enough in the public coffers to allow for it this year.
Once the benefit is given, it continues for life. There's always pressures for money. You know, I think the government has tried to help people by giving these GST-free weekends. So it's not only, we're trying to spread the cheer, but it comes at a cost. It comes at a cost, and one has to manage it and manage expectations at the same time.
And speaking of the losses to government from the first two GST-free weekends, the government has not provided an actual figure, so we asked the Financial Secretary today.
It's very hard to gauge because sales have picked up as well. If I had to pull a number out of the sky, and you don't hold me to it, I'd say about $5 million for the 2 weekends.
Which is what the Prime Minister had estimated.
Yes, the Prime Minister is a good calculator. He knows. Yeah, but it showed up in the figures that are wrong. That thing. To make it.
Health officials had been working on fine-tuning the Belize National Tobacco Control Bill 2025, which seeks to introduce regulations on the consumption and sale of tobacco products. This bill also includes regulations for the marketing of such products, as well as ensuring there are services available for those who would want to quit. We asked the Director of Public Health and Wellness, Dr. Melissa Diaz-Musa, if something similar will happen with alcoholic products.
Absolutely. We started with our tobacco. I'm glad that you brought it up because we're in the process of trying to successfully pass our Belize National Tobacco Bill 2020, Tobacco Control Bill 2025. And we know that this bill is an excellent bill. We know that it's a strong bill, and it's a bill that will make a difference to the public health of our population. So we're asking for the general population to support this bill. And we know that substances like tobacco and alcohol that are legal substances will be used, but it should be regulated. The same way that we regulate when you have a car and you need to have a driver's license to drive, you need to wear your seatbelt, you need to follow the rules of the road. This is the same way that we intend and hope to regulate the use of tobacco and alcohol in order to reduce the public health issues that we're having from them.
Karen Lewis Bell, Belize's representative for PAHO, said that alcohol isn't being banned or outlawed, but moderation is key.
Nobody is saying that alcohol is totally bad for you. In fact, a glass of wine may be good for your cardiovascular health. The important thing is you should not have excessive intake of alcohol. You should not be drinking alcohol to the point where you are not in control of your behavior, not in control of your musculoskeletal function in terms of, being able to drive, being able to respond quickly in terms of your reflexes. And that is when it becomes dangerous.
Belize Electricity Limited Chairman Senior Counsel Andrew Marshallek is set to demit office effective December 31. He had been in the position since 2020, and after 5 years, he has tendered his resignation. It appears the government has already lined up his successor, and it will be no other than a former CEO of the company, Ambassador Lin Young. Young was recently named as the person who will also chair the board of the new Hydro Belize Limited, formerly Fortis Belize Limited. Employees at the Belize Tax Service participated in a Mandarin course as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen cultural awareness and improve communication with a growing number of Chinese-speaking taxpayers. The course lasted several weeks and equipped participants with basic Mandarin vocabulary, conversational skills, and cultural context relevant to customer service and frontline interactions. It was imparted in collaboration with the Taiwan Embassy in Belize. It will help to facilitate smoother tax processing, address inquiries, and compliance support. Participants engaged in interactive sessions, pronunciation practice, and real-life scenario exercises that focused on common workplace exchanges. Here is Financial Secretary Joseph Waite.
We're very grateful to the Embassy of Republic of China, Taiwan, who reached out to us, and they're teaching a very basic course in Mandarin. They want ABCs and maybe the 1, 2, 3s. So it's to lift the professional standard of the ministry. And also for the tax officers who may have to go out in the field. As you know, a lot of our distributive trades are operated by people who speak their first language is Mandarin. So it would help, in basic communication. It's not the official language, so they'll still have to do their filing and all of that in the language of Belize. But this really does help in the communication. And this is a beginning course. I understand there may be a higher level to follow. So we think it's a plus. And also learning a second or third language is a benefit. It's a personal benefit as well. It opens worlds for you. The change in culture. We get a lot of American or European influence here from the English language, but they're worlds away. And I wish I could have taken the course. It is such a benefit. So we want to thank them, and we look forward to more. Prior, there was a similar thing to the BDF, and in fact, if you look at the poster over there, and you can see it later, there was a similar training for some people in the BDF. We would like to roll it out maybe to the medical services, who knows, and other things, But this is the beginning. I surely hope it's not the end. Often, if there was ever a case that required, we would hire a translator. Imagine there was a tax matter that went to the courts. The courts would hire a certified translator. But this is at a more basic level. It's basically walk into the store and say good morning in the language of the person across the counter makes a difference. It builds trust and confidence, and but it's not a substitute or a replacement of the English language.
And a Belizean was killed on Monday morning during a robbery in Cleveland, Ohio, USA, around 11:30. The man was identified as 34-year-old Samir Santana. According to Cleveland police, Santana was an employee of the store that was targeted. He was found unresponsive outside the building and was rushed to a nearby hospital, but he succumbed to his injuries during treatment. Santana had moved to the U.S. along with his family when he was a child. One of his siblings shared how difficult it has been to cope with the loss, stating, quote, "I never wanted to experience losing a sibling. I'm still struggling to grasp reality. I'm struggling to accept you're no longer here with us," end quote. Santana leaves behind 3 children. And with that, we've come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of the news. And remember, you can always catch up with the day's top stories on our YouTube channel and Facebook page under XTV Belize. And you can watch the evening news live on our XTV BHNI app. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.